Thank you. So, sister, we have to wait to start. We can't really start until we have a quorum. Oh, you're still muted. You're muted. There you go. Okay. You're muted, but it's all right. Oh, let's see who's coming in. Trying to keep asking for a password. Monica shouldn't need a password if she comes in on the link, right?
You need a password.
Okay, here, let me, because I didn't, let me go looking for it.
It's a really long password.
It's not even, okay, hang on a second. Here it is. Let me try. Okay, hold on. Okay. Noah, a procedural question. If we don't have
Yes.
a quorum, can sister still do her presentation and we record? And can we then send the recording to the members who couldn't make it so that when we make a decision at our next meeting, they'll at least have had the recording to see her presentation?
Yes, that would be fine. The only thing that we can't do without a quorum is have a vote on something.
Right. So we're not going to do that tonight anyway. But
Right.
oh, there's Ekin. Great. And Shar says she's coming in. And let's see how Monica does. Oh, here comes Monica. Okay. We
That should put us at a quorum.
that puts it as a quorum. Okay. Good to see everybody. Thank you. Okay. All right. So we are recording. It is 5:04. This is the January 10th meeting 2024 of the St. Louis County Human Relations Commission. I am Chair Karen Aresti. Before we go forward, let me establish a quorum with the roll call. Commissioner and Secretary Ahmad.
Here.
Commissioner Fan. Commissioner and Vice Chair James. I know James had specifically said he was not going to be able to make it. Commissioner Meredith. I guess that's a yes. Can't hear you real well. Sue, are you muted? Yes. Commissioner Pellegrini.
Here.
Commissioner Robinson is in her car.
Here. I'm here.
Thank you, Linda. Commissioner Smith, were you able to get in yet? She may still be trying. Commissioner Johnson and Commissioner Dr. Stewart.
Here. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
So, Noah, I believe that establishes us with a quorum tonight. Okay. Let me ask for approval of the minutes, and this is technically a typo, my fault, because the minutes are from our December 6th special meeting that were sent to you. Could I have, after a review, a motion to approve the minutes from December 6th, our special meeting, December 6th?
Actually, I wanted to go on the record that the minutes be corrected. I did not have a nay vote. I had abstained. And
That's
I
correct.
specifically had abstained because of the word conflict. I think it's being mischaracterized as a conflict when in fact it's a war.
Okay.
And that's why I had abstained. So it's a nay for me on the record, which is incorrect, and it should be an abstention.
Okay.
If that is corrected to a war, then I say yay. That was the only issue I had with the statement.
Okay, let me, procedurally, in terms of the minutes and what Commissioner Ahmad has raised, Noah, do you have a suggestion for us? I mean, I have no objection to changing the word to war. The question is, do we need to, have a whole other review of minutes? And if anybody else doesn't have an objection, we can make that. But I actually thought, Commissioner, that you should have been recorded as a nay and not as an abstention, because I think you specifically said no.
I believe I said I abstain. I abstain.
Okay,
I
so-
abstain.
Okay, so Noah, can you just give me some guidance to make sure we cross Ts and dot Is? Oh, you're muted, Noah.
So what we can do is we can still vote on the minutes with that correction noted, if that's what you want to do.
Let me just poll the current commissioners here. Does anybody have an objection to making that particular change?
And can we have war against the Palestinian people rather than Hamas?
Well, that's when we're going to get into a back and forth that I'm going to have some challenge with. I appreciate your trying, I appreciate you raising that in that way. At this stage of the game, I would probably vote against that. And not probably, I would in fact vote against that.
Well,
so
just not to interrupt, but
Go
what we're
ahead.
talking about is minutes of something that's already happened. So we can't, that's what
Oh,
we're
that's true.
discussing
Okay.
here.
Okay.
So
yeah, and the statement itself was a reflection of the members' commitment and interest around hate violence directed at members of the Muslim community and the Jewish community here in the region in St. Louis County because of that. Not so much, in my opinion, a broader statement on the war itself. That was the focus of the statement. But I'm happy changing certainly the record to reflect Commissioner Ahmad's statements today.
Yeah, it's an abstention. It's not nay. I just felt I felt uncomfortable with it being called a conflict when it is a large-scaled military force. It's not a conflict. It's a war.
Hear you. Does anybody have any other comment that they'd like to make on that at this time? Okay, hearing nothing, we'll note that, accepted and noted for the record formally.
Okay.
Thank you.
And I have confirmation that the record will be corrected, correct?
Yes, and let me just give a heads up to Theta, who is standing in for Izzy Mazursky on this to make sure that we'll follow up and note that that goes into the record. Is that the correct way to do it, Noah?
yes.
Okay, the answer is yes. Could I now have a motion subsequent to that conversation and the corrections being made in light of Commissioner Ahmad's comments for an approval of December 6th?
Could we clarify what the correction is going to be? How is it going to read after the correction?
I'm not looking at it exactly because it's on my phone, but the commissioner wants a clarification in the record as to her vote on the statement on December 6th.
Oh, okay, I see. Because I completely agree with Commissioner Ahmad. That's why I wanted to make sure that the correction reflects what her concern was. Okay.
Right, got it.
Thank you.
Okay.
So just because I think it's a little unclear, I believe the correction should be that Commissioner Ahmad abstained, and that's going to be the correction made. The statement will not be changing at all.
Correct. I wasn't a nay, it was an abstention.
Right.
Okay.
And hey, Dan, I'm seeing Commissioner Smith in the attendees list. Can you please move her into the participants list, please, so that she can participate? Ah, there she is. Hi, Commissioner Smith, and welcome.
Hello.
Hi, thank you. If we can, let the record reflect that Commissioner Smith has joined the meeting. Thank you. Okay. And relating, okay, so now I need a motion to approve the minutes in light of the conversation we've just had. A motion in a second.
Okay, I move that we accept the minutes of the December 6th meeting as corrected.
And a second, please. I think I saw.
I second Dr. Stewart. I second.
Thank you, Dr. Stewart. All in favor? Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Okay, the minutes from December 6th will be approved. Moving to section 3.1 of communications, and it is in fact relating to the statement. I just wanted to let y'all know that I had not a formal person-to-person conversation, but some email exchange with the county executive's office as to what might become of the statement. And I have not yet received confirmation that it will be published formally or used substantively yet. I just wanted to report that back. Does anybody have any questions or thoughts? Dr. Stewart, wasn't sure to put you on the spot whether or not you've been in that conversation.
No, I wasn't been in that conversation.
Very good, thank you. Are there any questions that I might answer or at least take forward to the county executive's office when I try to be the official nudge? Nope. Okay, thanks very much. Under new business, item 4.1, Compassionate St. Louis. And I want to thank our guest, Sister Carla Mae Streeter, for joining today. I actually became aware of Compassionate St. Louis back in 2004 when the broader, dare I say, global conversation about the project started. And Sister Carla Mae, who is Professor Emerita, if I may, or at Aquinas, and a longtime educator at St. Louis University, was with David Otten, also a retired faculty member at St. Louis University, were two of the many movers and shakers who have started to bring the project to the region. And it's seeing a refreshed and renewed energy now. I thought it would be appropriate for the commission to consider signing on as an endorser. My hope is that Sister makes a presentation today, and then we have additional documents that we can send and share for your consideration, and then have a follow-up discussion at our March meeting and formally vote in March to make a recommendation to the county executive for the commission and the county generally. So if I may, without too much pomp and circumstance, although lauding her extraordinary commitment over so many years to the St. Louis community and the cause of equity and justice and compassion, introduce you, if you have not yet met Sister Carla Mae Streeter, a force all by herself. Sister, if you would, can you unmute? You can unmute now. And you know, I would say you have the floor for 15 minutes or so to share the basics and background and take questions on the current work with Compassionate St. Louis.
All right.
For some reason, Sister, you muted again. Nope, it's not unmuting. There you go. Do you want to try that?
Sure. Okay. My screen says mute.
Well, right now we can hear you, so I
All
will
right.
go forward.
So I'm just pressing the space bar. I'll just keep doing that. Okay. All right, first of all, thanks so much for giving me some time. And what I'd like to do is really, in speaking with you, I would really like to ask you for what Karen has already mentioned. And that is, I'm also in the mayor's office. I'm in Tushara's office, along with Emily Luby, who is her secretary. And I've been talking with them for about 3 years since this is quietly moving. You hear very little of it because nobody is killing anybody. I'm sorry to be that crass, but that's the reality.
It is.
If it bleeds, it reads. So I'm not going to bleed in front of you, okay? So what I want to share with you is a backstory first, because without that, I don't think we realize the impact of what's going on with this issue. So the backstory picks up what Karen kind of introduced, but it, as a little earlier, it goes back to 2007. The famous British author Karen Armstrong by name, and you can check her on Amazon. She has a list of books as long as your arm. She just wrote a very innocent email. And the email was to her followers, and the email said, "Why on earth are the religions of the world so violent?" And she got a marvelous response and collected that material for reference. And then she invited 6 interfaith leaders to come and talk about this. Now, this is, of course, before COVID. So when they gathered, to their surprise and to her surprise, they found out that at the base of every one of their religious traditions was compassion. And they were so surprised that they could agree on anything that they wrote 4 paragraphs. The 4 paragraphs don't even fill a page. And they all signed the 4 paragraphs to make a statement that they were agreeing on this. And they called the document the Charter for Compassion. If you read it, and I'm going to give you a resource for you so that you can check out our website, the charter is on compassionate-stl.org. Compassionate-stl.org. You'll find a copy of the charter, these 4 little measly paragraphs. It's on that website. She took that charter, she thought it can't stop here, and she contacted the TED Talks. Now, most of us know that the TED Talks are a philanthropical webinar that takes place frequently, and it always features people who have ideas that could change the world. So being who she was, a big name from Britain, they took her on in 2008. What a lot of people don't know, though, is that the TED Talks have an annual TED Prize. And that prize is a measly $100,000. And she made off with the TED Prize in 2008. So those 4 measly paragraphs earned her $100,000. And wise woman that she was, she said, "It can't stop here." And she signed on to appear at the Parliament of World Religions in 2009 in Melbourne, Australia. So she went there and made a presentation of the charter, and the thing went viral. She announced that she was going to use that prize money to go from city to city to city to get the mayor and the city council to sign on to that charter. To date, last time I checked, she has over 600 cities in 5 hotspots around the country, the United States being one of them, with 100 cities in process of becoming compassionate cities. Now, what many people here in St. Louis don't know is that on the Forbes Business Journal website, St. Louis is already on a top 10 list for being one of the 10 top generous cities in the US. Now, that's not far horizontally from being one of the 10 top compassionate cities in the US. So those of us at that parliament brought the charter back, and we found out that Louisville, Kentucky, was also beginning this process. We contacted Louisville and we asked them to mentor us and figure out how to do this thing. So 12 people from the US and from St. Louis went to Louisville to find out how they were doing this thing. Louisville was having what is called a shout out, because so much is going on in an area that is positive that very, very often it gets muted by the negativity of a brand. And I think all of us know quite well that the brand that St. Louis has is the violent and racist city in the Midwest heartland. And yet, when my nephew-in-law finally consented to bring his wife to St. Louis because he wasn't going to visit that violent and racist city, he was surprised. I took him to the Hill, and we went to Mama Campese's to have lunch, and he said, "Carla Mae, what's with this? These people are wonderful. The architecture in this city is spectacular. I don't feel threatened." I said, "Brian, you're buying into the brand. The brand is what gets publicity. It's the public face. Most people don't realize all the marvelous stuff going on in this city and region." So we came back from Louisville. We asked Louisville to do an in-service with us back in about 2012, 2013, just before COVID started hitting. And we went to Mayor Slay, and he gave us an initial proclamation, which hangs on the wall in Brentwood. And it says that January 16th, coming up, is Compassionate City Day for St. Louis, because we're going to begin a process. Then all sorts of things happened. Interfaith Partnership lost its executive director. They went into a 2-year search. COVID hit, and just before COVID hit, I gathered the group that had gone to Louisville, and I said, "Hey guys, we cannot let this thing die. If anything might help the region to heal past the PTSD that we suffer from the Civil War, maybe this could help us heal and become something that people where they would want to move." So we had a strategic plan meeting for 9 months. We got a logo, we got a website, which you can see when you go to compassionate-stl.org, and you will see the now 620 something endorsements that we've already gathered, including 65 organizations. So when I contacted the mayor's office after Tishara was elected, because Slay had given us the initial okay, I said to Emily Luby, "We'll be back, Emily. We'll be back after we have over 500 endorsements." Well, we're back. And now we're coming also to you, because hopefully we can do this together, because the whole county is a vital part of this process. And as far as my determination is, because I sit in on the national meetings from Seattle, Seattle gathers all the US cities that are in process of becoming compassionate cities. And there are over 100 of us. And as far as I can tell, we are the only city doing this regionally. We are not doing this only municipally. We're doing it as a region, county, city, and Metro East. because that's the way we operate around here. It's just the way we do things. So with that beginning, really what I'm looking at here is to give you a clear idea of what our vision is. Our vision is that in 10 years, around 2030, that we be on that Forbes business list, and that we have rebranded our, what you might call, public face to be the following. St. Louis is the region where you would want to live, because it's the true heartland of the USA, where people take care of people. That's our vision statement. What are we doing to get that to be real? We are moving in what we call grassroots modeling. The type of governance model we're using is called the constellation model of social interaction. This is grassroots effort, and that's why we're going the endorsement route. We will continue until we not only have 600 endorsements, but until we have 5,000 endorsements, and then 10,000 endorsements, and then 50,000 endorsements. And if it takes us to 2025, so be it. If it takes us to 2035, so be it. Because unless there is a self-understanding that we are the beautiful region we are, nothing's going to change with our public brand to others. And we have what we call a compassionate scientific skill set. And we are preparing a team of trainers who are going to go out and meet with faculties, meet with board, meet with staffs, meet with children, meet with educators, meet with sports teams, meet with entertainment, and cue them in on what the skill set for a compassionate community looks like. In the meantime, we have zones. We have zones, Zoom meetings every month in which we shout out what is going on in this community, including the 5 Muslim doctors who have been doing free clinics for during COVID and after that nobody hardly knows about. We are looking at the realtors of this region, all 7 regions of them, 9,000 realtors who have made a public apology from the stage of Harris Stowe University, apologizing to the Black community for the redlining and the blockbusting that they have done since emancipation. And that they have a unity and diversity committee so that they don't backpedal. And when Dan Sale read the charter, he said, bingo. And he called me and he said, consider us endorsed. And so we go by group by group by group to change the attitude and the behavior according to the values in the charter. Nobody can be told how to be compassionate. The lawyers know how to be compassionate. The sports teams know how to be compassionate. The St. Louis Symphony knows how to be compassionate. The educators know how to be compassionate because they have to make it up. They have to know what they need to do to educate children, to educate policy, to educate how we do a budget, to educate how we can be a region that shines and that everybody wants to move to because you get a fair shake here. So that's the goal. And as Karen announced, I'd like to just field questions for the next few minutes that I'm given. And then I will send Karen 2 documents. One is the charter, so that each of you can really study the principles behind the charter, which are really the golden rule made specific. And then really just what I call an elevator speech. So you can talk to your beautician and your pharmacist and your doctor, your lawyer, and your engine chief, because that's how those endorsements came. They are all just common, ordinary people and organizations who say, yep, we could realize this dream. This is not a pie in the sky thing. You have to understand, finally, that a city does not become official as a city working toward these compassionate goals until the mayor and the city council signs on to that charter. Otherwise, we're in process and nothing really is official. So what I'm asking is that you consider helping us become official. So I'm going to open this now for questions, and I'd be glad to answer if I can. Thank you so much for letting me even tell you about it. So Karen, back into your court.
Thank you, sister. Superb. Appreciate everything. And just to follow, okay, go ahead, Sue, you've got your hand up. Can you unmute, please?
Okay, I just want to say it's refreshing to finally hear somebody say they realize you build the building brick by brick. You don't snap your fingers and put up something that's going to blow over in the wind. You build it slowly and carefully and do it right. And it's wonderful to hear someone speak like that instead of telling us what we're going to do and how it's going to be there. Boom. And try to do everything all at once.
No,
It doesn't
no,
work.
thanks, Susan.
Thank you.
No, no, we're not naive about this. You don't change a region that has suffered the history that we have suffered by snapping your fingers.
Thank you.
This is a form of PTSD, that this is the way we're known, and this is the way we say, oh, this is the way we are, and this is the way it's always been, and nobody's going to change it. Oh,
That's
yes, they
wrong.
are. Oh, yes, they are. We can be what we want to be. And that means, yes, we did get Metrolink, even though the naysayers said it would never make a profit. Yeah, yeah.
Does anybody have other questions or thoughts to add? Sure.
Hello. Yes, I don't
Hello,
have
Shar.
a question, but I just want to say thank you. I can feel your passion and I love the work. And I just want to say thank you for all that you're doing.
Thank you, Shar. I appreciate. What I really encourage you to do is to read that charter, because the only thing we are asking of our endorsers at this point is to post the thing. If you're a business, post it in your office. If you are a homebody, a homemaker, put it on your refrigerator door. Where else do we put stuff that we want to see often? You know, we're just asking that you put it before your eyeballs so that you read it often and say, oh yeah, that's what we're working toward. Oh yeah, that's it. That we can't forget that. Right now, we are not even asking for any serious funds, but we are in the process of getting a treasurer who is going to be working fully, maybe 3 to 4 hours a week on our books. We have an endowment fund begun. We have our eyes out too for a development director, and I'm working with the Rotary clubs throughout the region, and I'm working with the education system and so on. So I'm kind of working in the background to get the people to sign on board, and then our volunteers need to get recompense, and we're going to gather funds to be able to give them something, even though it's a gratuity and not really a serious salary. So we're doing pro bono work, all of us, the whole team at this point. We have an outreach coordinator, we have a communications director, we have a temporary treasurer, and we're looking for a developmental czar who will wave the wand and get grant writers and so on board, and outreach, in the corporations. We want to talk to enterprise, we want to talk to, the sports teams and so on. That's all in the making. We want to get that team certified. Every person on that training team on the scientific skill set that can be presented in a morning session or a daytime session is based on 6 modules that have been prepared by the University of San Antonio. You can check that out by going to Compassionate USA Squashed Together. Compassionate USA Squashed Together, no space, .org. You'll see the 6 modules and the scientific background for how communities can really learn these skills.
My hope is that we can, so we'll send the links, we'll send the resources, so you'll have time before the March meeting to review the material, ask any questions. I'll leave Sister's email if you want to send her a question. And frankly, you're welcome as an individual to go and endorse on your own if you choose. But the goal would be to have a conversation in March to formally make a recommendation to the county executive and then potentially urge, as Sister said, this regional acceptance of Compassionate St. Louis so that it can move forward with that kind of leadership. Go ahead, Commissioner Rahman.
Yeah, Sister, do you have a social media account like Facebook, Instagram?
Yes, we
Right.
do. Yes,
Okay.
we do. We do. We have, and Steve DeSalvo is our kind of czar for the Facebook, and he's from Marymount or Maryville University, and he is working with, he works with what I call the National International Office. You can go and look at that if you want. It's charterforcompassion.org, all squashed together. This is the Seattle office that works with the cities in the US that are working on this. Now, don't be put off, please, when you go to that national office, because they have some kind of new agey stuff on there. We are being very, very concrete. We're not up in the air like old idealistic stuff. We're being very, very concrete in our approach to this. In fact, we're going to take those 6 modules and we're going to localize them so that they pertain to St. Louis region. We're going to, because we've got people on the team who are competent to do that through consciousness analysis and humanities studies. So we want to do a good anthropology about human nature and about those 6 modules, which are on the skill set. We don't want this to be airy-fairy. We want this to be concrete, that it can be learned by school children.
I think that's great. Thank you for doing this, especially, during this time. I think it's wonderful.
Well, if you want an image, I'll give you the image of really an organic garden. When you look at a garden, you usually look at the roses and the gladioli. We're not the roses and we're not the gladioli. We're the ground cover. What does the ground cover do? Well, the ground cover keeps the bugs out and the moisture in. We're that basic. That's why you hear so little of it, because we're doing step-by-step endorsement, groups quietly coming on, quietly supporting. If somebody wants to become a sustained giver, and we have 5 of them who give us $10, $15, $20 a month, that keeps us going with all of our office stuff and all of our little bills that we have to pay. But we are asking only for endorsement at this time and posting that charter so that you keep it in your mind's eye and that you try and be ambassadors and get a few more people to sign on.
Any more questions? Any more thoughts? Thank you, everybody. Sister, wonderful job as usual. Looking forward to the next conversation. And we will report back to you in March. And as I said, I'll share your contact. If folks want to, they can be in touch.
Thanks so much, Karen, for your kindness in giving me some time, and everybody for your presence and your listening ear. And I'll be happy to hear from you, and we just continue to go on. Thanks so much. If you can, If it's all right, I'm going to leave your meeting.
Yes, it's fine, sister. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Talk to you soon.
Thank you, everybody.
Good night. Continuing under new business, item 4.2, was groupthink around 2024 priorities. I think I'd like to shift that and just do more individual think and ask as by way of, I don't know, call it homework. What might be things that we should put on the schedule to discuss in at our March meeting that we might sort of think about what the rest of the year would look like. I know Dwayne's not here today, and so I want him to be able to be part of that conversation. So I thought it would be a good idea just to give you a heads up to start thinking. Are there things in particular that would be appropriate for this commission to discuss moving forward that should be on the agenda? Beyond, for instance, something like what we talked about today. And that would be most helpful. Does anybody have any questions or thoughts about that? We can have a more formal conversation in March if that's all good. Seeing heads shake, no vote necessary, but appreciate that. Thank you. And then the last item under new was 4.3. Had a brief conversation with Matt McLaughlin, the county executive's liaison to boards and commissions. I believe there are a bunch, because that's my word for it, at least 3 potential new people under consideration. I haven't, I'm not aware of exactly who they are. I know a variety of different recommendations were made to the county executive's office, but would like to think in the next weeks and a couple of months, there might be some action filling the vacancies that we have on open positions. And that's all I have. It isn't specific. I think it was supposed to be specific on here. If I may, Noah, since we do have somebody, maybe a couple, could I offer an opportunity for a public forum? It's not exactly on the document, but can I say if anybody from the public who's on would like to offer something, this is the appropriate time? I can't, can I? You're muted. Sorry, you're muted.
No, since it isn't on the agenda.
Okay. Well, we'll work on that for next time, and we'll thank Ms. Raza for coming and participating, and perhaps at the March meeting, you'll have an opportunity to talk. If you have something to say, look forward to hearing from you. Meanwhile, the next meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, March 13, virtually at 5 p.m. Central Time. Theta, is there anything you need me to bring up before we seek a motion to adjourn?
No, thank you.
Okay, thanks Theta for the help today. And Dan in the cloud sphere, and Noah. If there's nothing further, I'll seek a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
And a second?
Second by Stewart.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Stewart. And at 5:44, we will close the meeting for January. Thank you, everybody. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Bye-bye.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.